In this method, tree lengths are skidded to the forest road or to a landing by a tractor equipped as a cable skidder. Sometimes chains or chokers are used instead of skidder's cables to attach the load to the tractor. The method does not require tree bucking in the stand. It uses simple machines and working methods. It is suitable for extracting long loads and, depending on local conditions, it can run at high speed. In some cases, it features a high productivity due to the high mass per load. It requires, however, large landings where storing space at the forest road, needs skid trails and dense stands where steep terrain, payload may be limited in size, there is a high risk of stand damage, and the worker shares his time spent inside the cab with outdoors tasks to attach and detach the loads. The main use is broadleaved forests, when a full mechanization is not possible, or when cross-cutting should not be done before reaching the forest road or the customer. Time consumption, productivity and costs depend mainly on the size of the payload and the skidding distance. The work cycle includes the elements of extraction and of the work done by the skidder at the forest road. These work elements are driving to the bunch of tree lengths, also called empty turn, in which the machine is driven on the trail from the forest road or from the landing to the bunch of tree lengths. Maneuvering. Once arrived at the first bunch, the machine is maneuvered to place it with the rear part oriented towards it. In this step, the machine is driven as close as possible to the end of the bunch. Attaching the payload, the driver leaves the cab and uses cables, chokers or chains to attach the payload, and then returns inside the cab. Driving to the forest road, also called loaded turn, in which the machine is driven on the trail to extract the payload at the forest road or at the landing. Detaching the payload, in which the driver leaves the cab, detaches the payload from the cables, chokers or chains. Other tasks, such as relocation within the felling site, arranging the tree lengths in a bunch, arranging the bunches at the landing. This example comes from Romania, where they have felled and delimbed broadleaved trees motor manually in a thinning operation. Following felling and delimbing, the tree lengths were pre-skidded by horses to the trail and bunched to form loads for skidding. The method is also used in those cases where there are restrictions of extracting the wood at the forest road as full trees, and it requires a careful planning of the skid trails so as to avoid curved parts, since these cause the highest risks to damage the residual stands.
Și mai sunt timpul la ei, eu trebuie să-i controlez, bă. Ai lame, lanturi, ce faci, cum faci, mai merge, nu mai merge, știi? Măcar la început să le explici, că după aia mai prinde.
Similar to other skidding operations, the tree lengths are dragged on the ground, therefore they may arrive quite dirty or damaged at the forest road. Damage to the soil over the skid trails may be higher than that of skidding full trees, and ruts may form on the skid trails. However, the tree lengths are easier to arrange in payloads and therefore their mass is higher, affecting positively the productivity. In many regions this is an accepted method provided that pre-skidding equipment is available, such as horses, portable winches or lighter farm tractors. Attaching and detaching the payloads are done manually and may be difficult and dangerous, particularly with loads high in size or with a high number of tree lengths.